Hi, it's Doug with some more family history. I've decided, since I've covered pretty good overviews of both the Bushes and Bewleys, and I'm sure there will be updates as I learn more. I continue to research and look at things again, see what I've missed. So now I've decided to branch out and look at my grandmother's lines. So this one will be dealing with the O'Bannons, and it's going to get a little interesting. I'm going to stay with the O'Bannon line for this particular video, and then there'll be a follow-up because in doing the research in Ancestry, and I did the DNA testing on myself, it shows that my great-grandfather, Virgil Lee O'Bannon, is my great-grandfather. However, it does not show his father, George O'Bannon, as my two-time great-grandfather. It shows a man by the name of George Robinson. And so we'll talk about that a little bit briefly as I make my way up through the tree in this video, but then I'll spend more time with it in a subsequent follow-up. So, just so that everybody knows how we're getting where we're going, here's my generation and my sisters and brothers-in-law, and then my dad, William Lee Bush. His mother was Martha O'Bannon, 1916 to 1999. My grandfather, William R. Bush, 1912 to 1980. And let's open Grandma's profile. I do have a couple of things in here. Oh, I don't have what I thought I did. See, this is why you should rehearse these. Maybe I haven't added it. I thought I had a picture in there of her from her younger days, so I'll just have to come back to that at some point. Her parents, Virgil Lee O'Bannon and Hester A. Stafford, and you can see Grandpa O'Bannon was 1893 to 1979, and Grandma O'Bannon, Stafford O'Bannon, 1894 to 1984. And you'll notice the blue through lines. Okay, so this is telling me that according to DNA testing that I share DNA with these people. Now, when we get to two-time great-granddad, George W. O'Bannon, 1849 to 1906, you can see there is no through line. Okay, his wife, she's not showing up, but I'm going to add her here. My two-time great-grandmother is, according to through lines, Ambrosia O'Bannon. Her maiden name was Jones, and she was married more than once. Grandpa George was also married more than once. All right, and so when I'm looking at Grandpa Virgil, my great-granddad, was born in 1893. Ambrosia marries a George Robinson in 1909. So those years don't add up for George to have been married to my great-great-grandmother and father, Virgil Lee. So there's something that happened here, and I'm not calling anybody out or saying anything bad about anyone. I'm just trying to figure it out, okay? And maybe it was more beneficial for some reason for my great-grandpa, Virgil, to have the last name O'Bannon rather than Robinson. I don't know. So anyway, we'll talk about that a little more when I follow up. So we go back another generation, and you'll notice that the blue through lines are gone. Okay, it stops up here. Presley N. O'Bannon, Neville. And you'll see that name Neville used several times. and we'll find out where that comes from in this overview. So that's my 3-time great-granddad and grandmother, Louise J. Hedden, 1824 to 1884, and they lived in Breckinridge County, well, actually, he was born in Breckinridge County, Grandpa Presley, and then passed away in Harrison County, Indiana. With the O'Bannons, there's a connection with Indiana quite a bit. And in fact, a past governor of O'Bannon, there's an O'Bannon Park in Indiana. I've never found that he's related to us, but O'Bannon is a big name in Indiana. There was something else I was going to add about that. Oh, in fact, Grandpa Virgil and Grandma Hester lived in Georgetown, Indiana when my dad was a kid. So he told me a story about riding their bike from Louisville across the river over to the farm where Grandma and Grandpa lived. And that would have been quite a ways. It wouldn't have been just, across a small town. It was a long way away. And I know that Uncle Morris, I think, stayed with them for a time on the farm. I don't know that Dad ever did for an extended time. Okay, so then Presley, Neville, O'Bannon. Then we go back to my 4-time great-granddad, William O'Bannon, 1775, 1857. And one of his brothers is Presley Neville O'Bannon. Okay, we had another one here. So he named his son after his brother. Presley Neville O'Bannon was a Marine, and he was involved in the Battle of Tripoli. He was born in Virginia, and then died in Henry County, Kentucky. And I think I have information about this. Here's a marker at his tombstone. Hero of Dern, Tripoli, Northern Africa, April 27, 1805. As captain of the United States Marines, he was the first to plant the American flag on foreign soil. Kind of a big deal. Okay. I'm going to do some more research into him. He would be an uncle. All right. Here's a picture of his birthplace. And again, that would have been in Fauquier County, Virginia. That's an old picture. I don't know if that place is still standing. I'll have to do some more research into that as well. And it seemed like I had something else here. Something about a sword from 1812. Let's see what this is. It's been a while since I've looked at this. Oh, it's just, okay. Not really anything necessarily connected with Uncle Presley. I do have a copy of his biography. It's cool that we have a picture of him, and I have a story. So maybe I'll do a video just about Uncle Presley. That is probably warranted. Then if you go back, his father's name is Captain William O'Bannon. Again, we're in Virginia. 1730 to 1807. He's listed in the Revolutionary War. I have a census document. I have a marriage document. So let's look and see. Yeah. This is his grave. Yeah. Private cemetery. Pictures taken in 1986. Looks like there's just a stone that never really was even carved into. Yeah, it looks like. Or maybe it's carved pretty roughly, and they used chalk so we could see it for the picture. I bet that's what it is. All right, and that's in Marshall County. Oh, Marshall, Fauquier County. So, yeah, still in Virginia. That's someone else I could probably do a video on, Captain William and Presley, in the same video. Go back another generation. Now we're John Foley O'Bannon. Again, same county in Virginia, 1710 to 1774. His dad is Bryant Botu O'Bannon. He's the first in the line to come to the colonies. Born in Tipperary, Ireland. 1683, passed away in Fauquier County, Virginia, 1762. I will say, the O'Bannons, you want to talk about longevity. Oh my goodness. They all, I think if any of us, in my, my sisters or myself, my nieces have longevity, I think that's where we're going to trace it to them and the Bewleys. They just seem to live really long lives. I don't know that I'm going to get into a lot of individual. I do have an account that talks about him being born high Irish, they say, having bright blue eyes and snow white hair. Now, I already said that I don't have DNA with O'Bannons. But it was an interesting account. He had a plantation in Virginia. Yes, my 7th great-grandfather, if he really is my 7th great-grandfather, was a slave owner. And I have, I think, his will. And so it lists that stuff. And that might be part of a video as well. And if we go back, now we're in Ireland, right? This is John O'Bannon. 1663, Tipperary, Ireland, to 1762. Now, notice who John O'Bannon is married to. Nancy E. Neville. So that's why I think that these people really are part of the same tree, because that name is used a lot for middle names, Neville. And I don't know if there's a Presley. No, I think I'm back. There's a Neville here. That's actually where it started. This is spelled differently. But right here, Anne Neville, wife of Captain W. Staying corrected. So we get to John. I only have one before that, and that is, we don't even have a full name. It's just F. O'Bannon, 1640. Don't have a death year, but obviously in Ireland. Tipperary is the dark green shaded portion of the map. So Southern Ireland. There's Northern Ireland where Belfast is. Dublin's up here. It's down in the southern part of Ireland. So I think that does it. That's the overview of the O'Bannons. Again, not trying to stir up trouble or anything or call anybody out. I'm just sharing what I've learned with Ancestry. All right, hope you enjoy it.